The American Midwest. Recently, I've been traveling to a bunch of places within the region that I'd either only heard of but never been, or that I'd never even heard of at all. Wherever I found myself, I did the thing I always do: explore. Join me. This is Thom in the Midwest.
Hey everyone, it's me, Thom. Welcome to another Trains Are Awesome video. I'm coming to you from a hotel room in a place that I didn't even know existed, let alone did I think I would ever visit here. I am in the small city of Waupaca, Wisconsin. Waupaca has a population of just a little bit over 6,000. I'm here for work, but I have a little bit of time off, so I was determined to do some walking and some sightseeing. I am a big city person, always have been, always will be, but I love visiting these small towns and getting to learn a little bit of the history. So I did some research online, and it turns out that Waupaca has one thing in common with my home of Chicago, and that's that in the early 20th century, both our cities had a streetcar system. Waupaca, Wisconsin had a streetcar that was 5 miles long, running from the Wisconsin Central Depot down to the Veterans Home at Rainbow Lake. Though the streetcar was torn up in 1926, so almost 100 years ago, my hotel room is actually right next to where it used to run. So what we're going to do in today's video is we're going to follow the route of the old streetcar here in Waupaca, walk to the old train depot, and along the way see if we can find any remnants of the system.
So yeah, the Waupaca streetcar opened in 1899 and closed in 1925. So it was only operational for 26 years, and it's safe to say that we missed it by almost a century. But if you want to see an operating streetcar in Wisconsin, subscribe to Trains Are Awesome, because on Saturday we will be featuring the Hop in Milwaukee.
So I'm standing at the intersections of Fulton Street and County Highway QQ. Now the streetcars would come from Waupaca, take Fulton Street, and then go to the King Veterans Home on Rainbow Lake, part of the chain of lakes. And a lot of veterans in the home when the line was in service were Civil War veterans, and so they, together with their wives, would take the streetcar to go to Waupaca Station. The Veterans Home today, it's still there, but it's about just as far from this intersection as downtown is, and I would rather go see the train station. So we are going to follow the route of the old streetcar to the old Waupaca Railroad Depot. Let's go.
The first section of our walk is on your typical rural/suburban highway with chain businesses along the street.
If you weren't convinced yet that this is dairy country, that store behind me sells pop, pizza, milk, and a car wash. Maybe they wash the cars with milk. I knew that cheese was a big deal here in Wisconsin. I've never heard of a store advertising that they sell milk.
There was a little bit more suburban wasteland to march through, with the wide highway as my guide and the empty shopping malls on my left and right. But soon, Waupaca did change into a slightly cuter residential area. That's not to say there weren't any businesses here, just businesses that seemed more inviting, like Moe's. I was getting pretty hungry, and this seemed like a great place for dinner.
So while I wait for my food, I'm reading the Picture Post, Central Wisconsin's premier vacation publication. And thank you. Food. This thing is ads and people's vacation pictures. And just that. You know, I may be here on a work trip, but if I didn't know any better, it'd feel like I was on vacation myself. So what I got are these Reuben spring rolls. They're like spring rolls with Reuben inside. Side of fries and some deep fried Oreos for dessert. very curious about these Reuben rolls, so let's try one. It's good. I hear a train. All American? Yes. Unhealthy? Maybe. But all for $10.50. That food actually really hit the spot. We're gonna keep walking down Fulton Street until we reach Main Street. I actually used to live on a Fulton Street in a different city. And that Fulton Street's motto was keep Fulton funky. Well, based on some of the yard signs I've seen around here, maybe keep Fulton traditional with family values might apply better here.
Pretty soon, Fulton Street leads us into downtown Waupaca. I think my favorite part of the downtown area was that there were two identical banks on the same street, but it was 738 and 86 degrees at one, 737 and 80 degrees at the other.
So here we are at the intersection of Fullerton and Main Streets. So the streetcar would turn onto Main Street like this. So that's what we're gonna do too.
This is your typical American small town downtown. It actually got busier the later it got, with a lot of people walking their dogs here. Walking down Main Street, I tried to picture an old streetcar running through the street. I have to admit, I kind of had a hard time picturing it.
And then over here, Main Street turns into Water Street, and the streetcar also took this curve.
So while we have been following the old route of the streetcar, really haven't seen any artifacts that would point back towards its history, although there's always plenty of interesting things to see along the way.
Am I going the right way? He says yes.
If you're wondering why Water Street is named Water Street, it might have something to do with this. If you've ever been a young person in a small American town, you already know what went on here.
So immediately on Oak Street, we can see the right-of-way of the Canadian National Neenah subdivision, part of the main line from Chicago to Western Canada. Looks like there's a bridge and a railroad crossing. So I wonder what that's about. So I think I may have found the depot.
There's an old caboose on this side of the tracks, and then the Waupaca depot with some other old trains on the other side of the tracks. The tracks themselves are the old Wisconsin Central Railroad, which became the Soo Line in the 1950s. The Soo Line today is owned by Canadian National Railways.
I wonder if this complex belonged to the railroad as well. There's a freight car over there. So behind me is the official Waupaca Historic Train Depot. I believe it's private property, so I'm not going to go up there, but they have a number of old trains showcased there.
As far as I've been able to tell, the only thing that's left from the Waupaca streetcar is here at the Waupaca depot, an old baggage car. Though I didn't go farther to look at the old trains, this deer and this bunny were taking an evening stroll past the historic rolling stock.
So yeah, that was a really nice walk. The depot is open on Saturdays and Sundays, or if you call them by appointment, and it's free. So if I come back, I will definitely try to coordinate it so I can go visit that. Saw nothing of the streetcar. Of course, I only walked half its route. I didn't walk the other half to the veterans home, but I did speak to the lady at the front desk of this hotel, and she said that last year when they were digging up Main Street, they actually found some of the rails from the streetcar, which they got rid of. So thank you so much for watching today. Probably a different kind of video than we normally have here on the channel. We'll be back with more content coming your way, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome, and we'll see you next time.